Let me start with something most men were never told growing up. Your silence didn't mean you were strong. It meant you learned early that no one was listening. This is not a video about blaming men or praising men. It's a video about understanding men. Because behind the jokes, the work ethic, the toughness, and the quiet smiles, many men are carrying more than they ever say out loud. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who never missed work. He showed up early, stayed late, paid his bills, and handled his responsibilities. People called him dependable, strong, solid. What they didn't see was that every night he sat in his car for 10 minutes before going inside, just trying to breathe, not because he didn't love his family, but because the weight of being needed by everyone left him empty. No one asked him how he was doing, and even if they did, he wouldn't have known how to answer. This is where many men's mental health struggles begin, not with weakness, but with expectation. From a young age, boys are taught that emotions are something to control, not explore. Crying is discouraged, fear is dismissed, vulnerability is mocked. Over time, many men don't lose emotions, they lose the language for them. When you can't name what you feel, you can't ask for help. And when you can't ask for help, stress turns inward. Psychology shows that men experience stress just as intensely as women, but they often express it differently. Instead of sadness, it may look like anger. Instead of anxiety, it may look like withdrawal. Instead of depression, it may look like overworking, substance use, irritability, or emotional numbness. And the world often rewards those behaviors until it doesn't. Let me tell you another story. There was a man who laughed loudly in public. He was the funny one, the one everyone called when they needed cheering up. What no one noticed was that he never talked about himself. Humor was his shield. If he kept everyone laughing, no one would ask what he was avoiding. At night, his thoughts raced. Regrets, pressure, the feeling that he was falling behind in life, even though he couldn't explain why. He didn't feel depressed the way people describe it. He just felt tired of being himself. That's an emotional experience many men struggle to articulate. Emotional exhaustion without tears, hopelessness without sadness, pain without a name. Men are less likely to seek therapy, not because they don't need it, but because many were never shown what healthy emotional expression looks like. Society teaches men to be providers, protectors, and problem solvers. But when the problem is internal, those tools don't work. And when men can't fix how they feel, they often feel like failures. Let's talk about relationships. Many men love deeply, but they were never taught how to express emotional needs without feeling weak. So they show love through actions, working harder, providing, fixing things, while their partners may be longing for words, presence, and emotional openness. This disconnect creates loneliness on both sides. Men feel unappreciated, partners feel unseen, and instead of talking about it, silence grows. One man once said, "I didn't know I was allowed to need comfort too." That sentence alone explains so much. Mental health issues in men often go unnoticed until they reach a breaking point. Men are statistically less likely to seek help, yet more likely to die by suicide. This doesn't mean men are weaker. It means they suffer quietly, and quietly can be dangerous. Stress, when left unaddressed, doesn't disappear. It shows up in the body. Headaches, high blood pressure, sleep problems, chronic fatigue, irritability, emotional shutdown. Over time, the nervous system stays in survival mode, and survival mode is not living. Let me tell you one more story. There was a man who believed resting meant laziness. He worked non-stop, ignored his health, and brushed off emotional pain. One day, his body forced him to stop. Panic attacks, chest pain, exhaustion so deep he couldn't get out of bed. That's when he realized something powerful. His body had been screaming what his mouth never said. "I need help." Therapy didn't make him weak. It gave him language. It helped him understand that emotions are information, not threats. That asking for support is not a failure, it's a skill. Men's mental health improves when we normalize emotional honesty. When we stop telling boys to man up and start teaching them how to self-regulate, communicate, and process pain. When men are allowed to be complex, strong and sensitive, confident and uncertain, capable and human. Entertainment often portrays men as either invincible heroes or broken villains. Real men live somewhere in between. They feel joy, fear, love, grief, pride, and shame, sometimes all in the same day. Healing for men doesn't always start with talking. Sometimes it starts with safety, trust, knowing they won't be judged or dismissed, knowing vulnerability won't cost them respect. And here's the truth many men need to hear. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to feel deeply without explanation. Strength is not the absence of emotion. Strength is learning how to carry emotion without being crushed by it. If you're a man watching this and something feels familiar, know this. You're not alone, and you're not broken. And if you love a man, understand that sometimes the quiet is not distance, it's overload. Mental health is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming whole. And the bravest thing a man can do is stop pretending he's fine when he's not. That's not weakness, that's courage.